Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Maria Gonçalves Podcast. I'm your host, Maria Gonçalves, and today we have a special guest, Niko the Medium, all the way from Greece. So, welcome, Niko.
Thank you, Maria. It's nice to be here. I'm actually from New York, but I've moved to Greece. It's a beautiful Greek island, a very calming, peaceful life, and it's the best move ever. I suggest you do it too.
I've been thinking about it. I'm like, I need to move back to Portugal.
There
The
you go.
weather's just beautiful and there's no
It is.
snow. We
Right.
just
There's none.
Yeah, yesterday was our first a big snowstorm where I was driving in the highway for an hour and you got like 2%
Mm.
visibility. And in that time, I'm like,
Mm.
oh, it would be so nice to be in Europe where there's sunshine right
Yeah.
now.
I don't miss those days at all.
That's when you call your spirit team. You're like, please get me home safe. I
That's
can't see the
exactly right.
lanes. I
That's
can't see the
exactly right.
cars. Just and you're in that whole trust zone. But before we have a coffee chat with Niko, let me tell you guys a little bit about Niko. So, Niko the Medium, he is a trance and evidential medium. As you guys know, he's from Greece. He is an author, so he has some books out. He's a podcaster and he is a teacher. So, from a young age, Nico experienced spirit as a quiet, constant presence in his life with subtle impressions, gentle whispers, and moments of knowing that shaped the way he saw the world. But he didn't always understand it. And as many of you listening, you probably have had the same experiences and you can relate to seeing spirit as a young person. Um, and then everything changed for him after the passing of his cousin, Frank. So after Frank passed away, a year later, he had a profound connection with his cousin. You're going to have to tell us more about that because that is the foundation that changed your life and got you into mediumship, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, and then also here, you also mentioned that you grew up in a Greek Orthodox faith, and these experiences weren't easily acknowledged, as many of us know, coming from strict
Yeah.
Catholic backgrounds. And but you managed to work through it. So I'd love to talk about that too. And I just want to say thank you for being here. Can you share with us about your cousin and how that started this whole journey into mediumship?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go back to the Greek Orthodox religion. That's very accurate and they're very strict. And all of
Yeah.
this mediumship is taboo. It's devil worship, work.
Yeah.
And this is what's been infused in my mind since I was a kid. Even when I had that early experience of seeing three beings, my mom thought it was my imagination, my imaginary friends. But even
Yeah.
when that experience was so vivid, because I could feel their presence, I could feel their energetic frequency, and that always remained with me my whole life. It still does.
Yeah.
And my cousin and I were very close, closer than brothers. And he passed in a car accident. And even in the hospital, I remember I was holding his hand. We had the whole family was there. He was in a coma. We all had to watch. Everybody had a few hours to make sure that if he woke up, somebody was there for him. And that one day, I remember that my sister and my aunt were in the same room with me, and they were having a conversation. And I was holding his hand, and it's as if he was speaking to me. And his
Wow.
volume was increasing and their volume was decreasing. And we had a conversation. So, and I could still feel his presence near me, but I could hear him speaking clear as day. Again, they thought I was crazy, my imagination, I'm going through some kind of post-traumatic trauma. Everybody always has an explanation because they're observing it with the human intellect. But that same human intellect is what has been conditioned throughout our entire existence on Earth. So even though I felt it, my brain kept telling me otherwise, because that's what people were telling me. I was believing it. I was taught that. About a year after he passed, I was walking through a park going home, and it was as if he was standing next to me having a conversation. People were in the park too. People
Yeah.
were on the park. I was walking past the park, through the park, and we were having a conversation. And I could feel his presence near me, and I could actually hear him having a conversation with me. And he kept insisting that for me not to forget that my sensitivity to feeling the presence of spirit is going to be my way in, the doorway, groundbreaking. He goes, you have to focus on that. Don't keep shying away because others tell you it's not real. Don't listen to them. So, of course, I was in New York. It was a very loud place. I had my whole life there. I was a successful contractor because I wanted my ego's desire was to have money and be rich and what have you. And I went through a divorce in 2015. Then I came to this Greek island my father's from. And the first time I could sense those three spirits that had visited me when I was a child, and I even heard the name
Wow.
speaking to me. And that was really wild. It was by myself in my grandfather's old house. I came back again the next year, just had this pull to come back again. And that's when I actually visualized my cousin. He was literally in form, sitting there um, on my grandfather's property. At first, I thought it was a light reflecting off of metal, but then I saw it was him, and he was actually speaking to me. Now, at that point, it made no sense. Through my years of developing and understanding spirit, I recognized how spirits communicate with us even when there's no form. I wrote that in my third book because my spirit team has been guiding me to write this trilogy, and now it's expanded to even more books. Basically, they're saying that the download is I'm going to complete the first cosmology of consciousness, writing it from inside the architecture, not about it, which is pretty interesting because no no manuscripts on spirituality really focus on the architecture of consciousness. That's what this is all about. So, make a long story short, I sat with him for an hour. I felt him. I understand now what had happened through projection and dubbing. And then I just decided I had to move to this island and buy my family's property, and something magical was going to happen by me being here. And that's what happened. My awakening expanded. I connected with my spirit team. I understand everything, even the architecture of origin, where we come from. And this is where I'm starting to teach this in my classes. The next books are going to reflect this approach to understanding, to truly understanding all aspects of that um, cosmology of consciousness, not through the lens of the human form, because that's where it gets very tricky. If
Yeah.
we People are trying to connect with spirit guides or lost loved ones, and they always see it as an outside attempt, heaven and
Yes.
earth, another realm. We have to die to get there. This is all teachings of the human realm. So we really can't surpass that and break free of those chains if we continue to view it as a human. But if we view it as our soul, it makes a lot more sense. And that's where the remembrance comes through. Because you remember, you're the essence, you're the soul. So the more you take away the human identity and what you view as important in this world, relationship status, finances, and what have you, and just see it as an experience, the more you're able to not fear. And these questions that are unanswered become answered because it's in your remembrance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, that is very cool. I do like that because even as beginner mediums, and you'll hear this so many times like, oh, I can't connect. Oh, it's so hard
Yeah,
to connect. They're so far away. Let's
right.
get them
That's
close.
exactly right.
Where are they? Or
That's
you'll
exactly
hear
right.
they're up there, we're down here. You got to pull them down. It's like, what am I doing? It's a lot of work. It's a
I
lot of
know.
work.
I know. So I'm going to share with you, because I haven't shared this yet on any podcast, not even my own,
Yeah.
the architecture of origin. This is where it all begins.
Yeah.
By understanding that, we have to first ask the question, what is God, the creator?
Yeah.
Okay, now when I say God or the creator, I'm not referring to a being, a person, or a deity. I'm referring to the vast, boundless intelligence field of pure essence that
Yeah.
has no beginning, no end, and no form. So it is not someone, it is not out there, it is the infinite field of conscious potential from which everything arises. So you could call
Yeah.
it pure consciousness, source, the origin field, the infinite, which these are all the words we refer to God as, or the creator. This is the
Yeah.
ground of being, okay? A field so vast that individuality does not yet exist. There is
Yeah.
no you and me. There is only pure awareness without identity. Okay, this is the state before begins.
Yeah.
Okay, now there is no character, there is no soul, there is no portion, no self yet. Only infinite awareness. That's
Okay.
the creator. Okay, now when the infinite field of consciousness, God, chooses to know itself through experience, It generates a point of perception within its own field. Okay, this point
Yeah.
of perception has no body, no story, no identity. It is simply the first moment of I am aware.
Yeah.
Okay, that point of perception is what we call the perceiver. It's not God, it's not a soul, it's not a human, it's not a guide. It is the first individualized viewpoint of the infinite, right? So look at it this way. If God is the ocean, the perceiver is the first wave that rises but still remains ocean.
So is
It's
that us? That's not
wait, wait,
us?
wait, wait. We're getting there. We're getting there. It is still made of the same consciousness, but now it has a perspective. Okay? The perceiver is not God. The perceiver is God becoming a point of view. It
Oh,
is
I
the
see.
origin of your existence as an individual strand of consciousness. Okay? We have God, then we have the
Yes.
perceiver. Now, how do you get here? Good
I don't
question.
know.
The perceiver now, the perceiver, who's
Yes.
not God, we said, okay?
Correct.
It's the origin of your existence as an individual strand of consciousness, right? The perceiver now, curious to explore and evolve, generates a structure
Yeah.
through which it can experience many lifetimes, many realities, and many expressions. This structure is the Oversoul. The Oversoul contains all your lifetimes, all your lessons, all
Mhm.
your soul memories, all your evolutionary themes, and all variations of you across time and dimension.
Yeah.
Right? But the Oversoul is still one consciousness, organized like a blueprint or a library.
Yeah.
So here's the difference. The perceiver is the observer behind all lifetimes. The Oversoul is the collection of all those lifetimes. So the Oversoul is created by the perceiver so that the perceiver can explore itself. Right?
And then is the perceiver us?
This is all you so far. The
Oh, okay.
perceiver is you, the oversoul is you. It doesn't change. We're getting to you, right?
Okay.
You have to understand the whole architecture of this to really understand it. And that's how we're going to get rid of all this human fear.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, the oversoul equals the perceiver's way of experiencing existence. This is why when someone remembers a past life or feels a deep
Yeah.
soul connection or experiences synchronicity, what they're actually sensing is the oversoul revealing itself. So, from the
Okay.
Oversoul's vast archive, one thread steps forward for this lifetime. This
Yeah.
becomes your higher self. So, you've heard of
Wow.
Oversoul or higher self, and if not, now everybody heard of Oversoul and higher self. The higher self guides this incarnation that you know. It holds your
Mhm.
blueprint. It aligns your intuition. It shapes your evolution. It
Yeah.
orchestrates your meetings, lessons, and choices. Nothing is random. Every meeting is a soul contract. It
Yeah.
oversees your growth. So it is the
Yeah.
voice of clarity, the surge of knowing, and the pull toward truth. So
Yeah.
finally, now, the higher self funnels a portion of itself into a human mind and body. This portion becomes awareness. This is our human awareness, that everyday consciousness that wakes up in the morning and navigates human life. Awareness forgets the oversoul. It
Yeah.
forgets the perceiver. It forgets the infinite. But the sacred presence is the moment awareness begins to remember where it came from.
Yeah.
Right? So the sacred presence you feel is not God. The sacred presence you feel is the perceiver, the layer of you that never forgot the infinite. So now, if we understand how we got to the awareness, where's our soul? People think that the soul is in the body. It can't be. It's a projection and it's extremely powerful and it would overwhelm the body. So the oversoul creates the funnel of consciousness.
Oh, wow.
In this funnel of consciousness, this is your auric field. You know what the auric field is? The energy space all around you.
That is interesting because as you're talking, my mind, it feels like it's being blown away. Like, because you're getting so expansive. Do you find that when
Yeah.
you're teaching that
Yeah,
concept?
and I'm trying to really minimize it because it's a lot for the human brain if we don't recognize it. If we don't
Yeah.
know, because we're not taught this, right? Okay, let's keep going with the funnel now so you get a clearer picture. We understand now the upper echelon here, God, the infinite, the
Yeah.
receiver. We understand that. That's where it goes from. That's not taught in Sunday school.
No, it's not.
Of course
Or
not.
Catholic school. No.
Exactly. None of this. None of it. So it's really been forgotten. But how do you recognize what's going on with our intuition through the higher self, feeling presence near? We have to understand the architecture first and then kind of simplify it afterwards. So consciousness, okay? There's two different things, consciousness and awareness. People are constantly confusing the two.
Yeah.
The human awareness, is not consciousness. Awareness is the localized human facing portion of the higher self placed inside the brain body system, right? Awareness as a human, it's the
Yeah.
attention, the thoughts, the sense of I am here in this body, the
Hmm.
lens that interprets experience, and the mind spotlight. It is funneled downward from the higher self. This is why awareness feels limited. It's a pinch down into a
Yeah.
human bandwidth. Okay, the human consciousness. This is the funnel I mentioned.
Yeah.
Consciousness is the continuum that descends from source through the perceiver, through the oversoul, through the higher self, into the auric field, the energy around your physical form, and into the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Right? Awareness sits inside this continuum, but it is not the continuum itself. The funnel, the auric field, the funnel of consciousness, the auric field, it attaches to the body. It creates the auric field and it anchors into the physical form through the breath. Your consciousness, that auric field, carries the intelligence of all higher levels.
Oh, wow.
But your awareness in the human mind is limited. You understand?
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
The human consciousness, the portion of the funnel that anchors into the incarnation, contains your instinct, your intuition, your subtle knowing, the
Mhm.
architecture for trance mediumship, the energetic bridge between the human and the spirit. All of that. The auric field, right? Even in those in the religious icons, they have a halo around Jesus' head. Remember those icons?
Yes. Yes.
That symbolizes the auric field. When
Yes.
people are very enlightened, normal people, can see the light glowing on their body. That's your auric field. We all have that. But yeah, nobody thinks about it. The auric field is the interface zone, if you want to call it that,
Yeah.
where the funnel meets the body. The auric field contains your emotional layer, the mental layer, the intuitive layer, the energetic memory, your
Yeah.
unique frequency signature. It's because of the auric field that we can sense emotion, not from the brain, from the intuitive mind. You see, this is the translation surface spirit uses to impress information. It's also the place where the higher self and guides interface with awareness. So the higher self is the navigator, the incarnation manager,
Yes.
the bridge intelligence, the orchestrator of intuition, and the shaper of lessons, timing, and connections. And the funnel exists because the higher self exists. Okay, the funnel is literally the spine of the higher self's connection to the body. And awareness sits at the bottom of the higher self, and
Yeah.
consciousness, the funnel, sits in between. Without the auric field, we as humans could not connect with spirit. It's
Hmm.
impossible. Without the higher self, you wouldn't have intuition or sensitivity or emotions, none of it.
So, Nico, where does the fear sit? Like the
Be-
human fear?
It's conditioning of the mind. It's not your awareness. Your
Yeah.
awareness is from the higher self, but you see, the higher self does not interfere with your journey over the overseas it. So you get influenced by the continued teachings of this world, fear trance, fear spirit, devil worshiping. But
Yeah.
notice where the fear comes from religious institutions that instill the fear so they can gain control, for
Yeah.
government control. Way before these institutions were in play, it was widespread understood. They didn't have the vocabulary for it. They understood a higher presence. They understood the perceiver in that sacred presence. They understood breath as sacred. They understood all
Yeah.
of this,
Yeah.
all of it. But this is where we get confused. So when people are trying to connect and they doubt their ability and they think they're less or I'm not as good as the other medium, that's just your mind getting in the way. That's the teachings that's really conditioned the mind. So you really don't have a chance. But if people recognize that we're not trying to accomplish anything, we already
Yeah.
are that field. We already are in the auric field. We are the higher self. We are the oversoul. We are the perceiver. We're
Yeah.
all of it. We're just the human self. And I just spoke about this the other day. We get caught up with the human identity,
Yeah.
right? Niko, the father, the son, the brother, the friend.
The
These are my
label.
identities. This is my role that I play in this human life. None of that identifies me. None of it.
Yeah.
But because we get so caught up in it, we recognize the human identity that's in front of our face. Okay, that's who I am, and it's my religion. I don't believe in this. So I'm going to mock every single medium that there is. I'm not going to listen to them. They're crazy. Because that's what it's a teaching. It's just ignorance passed down from generation to generation. But we're not even the human identity. We're the human self. Because in that
Yeah.
funnel, the higher self creates the funnel, brings
Yeah.
the awareness to the human body. That's the higher self. So I'm my
Yeah.
human self. And I'm not even the human self. I'm still the higher self, the oversoul, the perceiver. I'm all of that, just
Yeah.
with the human form. Hence the title human self. That's who we are. That's what the true awakening they speak about is. It's not recognizing, oh, their spirit or continue the phenomenon for centuries that spirit is connecting with us.
Yeah.
Awakening is to realize you're not the human identity or the human self. That's your awakening. Then everything changes. The whole landscape changes. And
Yeah.
trance mediumship is vital. And this is the one that people fear the most. They're going to get possessed or they're going to go crazy. Again, recognize,
That's true. That's true. I've heard that.
yeah, but
Yes.
why so much fear is placed into trance for centuries? Because trance is the most powerful avenue to remember. And the
Hmm.
churches knew this. Governments knew it. They don't want you to
Yeah.
remember. They want to control you. So they instill the most fear into trance. That's why that's the most feared and it's the purest form of communication.
I will
Trance,
say, Nico, years ago, this is like 20 years ago, I remember going to psychic fairs and seeing trance mediums.
yeah,
And there was a whole thing done about it. It's like they had like two people on each side. Don't talk to them. If you talk to them, they're gonna get stuck on the other side. Like there was a whole production of fear around
yeah,
trans mediums back in the day. So
yeah.
that doesn't help
Still
our
is.
cause today.
That's why there's still struggle. But you see, with this widespread awakening, if you will, there's a lot more people interested in learning trance. They're softening their fear against it. They're intuitively being pulled to trance. Intuitive is the higher self with the awareness of the human mind.
Yeah.
Trance is the higher self weaving the funnel consciousness with the auric field. That's what
Yeah.
happens. And softening the awareness so that the perceiver's current becomes accessible. See, it's like all the tangibles are weaving together in trance. Right? So what is trance? First step, awareness softens. The
Yeah.
human tightness relaxes. What is the human awareness? The higher self. So the higher self is first relaxing your resistance, right? Then the higher
Yeah.
self widens the funnel. Step two, consciousness becomes more fluid, less bound to the body. Step
Yeah.
three, the auric field becomes receptive. Frequency rises, emotional and mental layers thin. And this is step four, spirit or guide consciousness overlaps with the auric field. Entrainment begins. This is why evidential mediums can sense spirit near. This is why even non-mediums can sense their lost loved one's presence near. It's on the auric field.
Yeah.
See, it's continuing. Then the next step is the higher self allows more of itself into awareness. The perceiver's current remains in the background. It goes on and on and on. It's a whole list of what it is, and people still fear it, and people still doubt, and they still get into their head.
I think too, to be quite honest, one of the things for myself with trance over the years is you hear different teachers explain, some will explain it in fear based, others are you can't connect unless you sit for 100 hours a week or
Yeah,
50 hours
yeah,
a week. Like there's all these rules. And
yeah.
then as you were talking, I was remembering books like this is like 25 years ago when I became a medium literally by accident, and I started reading more, and I would read books of where they had no training, but they would just sit in prayer or talk or
Yeah.
connect, and the softening you talk about. And I feel like we forget that today. There's so much rigorous training with so many rules, and we get caught up in the rule. Did I do step 3? It's not going to work because I skipped step 2 or
Yeah,
5. Like I
yeah.
find there's so many steps to things now. I don't
That's
know.
why there's so much struggle with evidential and trance because, and I don't blame the teachers. They're
Yeah.
just teaching what they were taught,
Correct.
and
True.
that's just being passed down through teacher to teacher, new cycles. And I was never planning to teach anything. I was just learning for myself, for my own growth. But whenever I was in the class and it didn't resonate with me, I could just sense my spirit team near me. I was getting certain calling cards, certain sensations. I was receiving telepathic thought that I thought was my new thought, but it was actually that's how the higher self communicates with you through the telepathic thought coming in from the intuitive mind, not the conscious
Yeah.
mind. So all this was like I could sense it. I realized it was real. It was happening. My intellect didn't have the vocabulary to understand it. And when
Yeah.
I would ask the teacher, they thought, I was making things up. So I realized, okay, I can't rely on another human because they too do not possess the vocabulary. This is
Yeah.
spirits teaching. So I always say, and one mentor that was the best thing he ever taught me was that the best mentors you have are your spirit team because
Yes.
you are spirit, you're not human. So even when I teach my courses, I don't go through those same avenues that every other teacher. I don't use the same vocabulary, and I simplify it by helping them recognize their essence first. You're not a
Yeah.
human. You've never been a human.
Yeah.
You just believe you're the human identity. You're still the human self.
Yeah.
So no human can possibly connect to spirit. If your spirit essence is not in the body, how are you connecting to the spirit essence? It's not
Yeah.
possible. It's like water trying to penetrate a concrete wall. It's not possible.
Yeah.
One's matter and one's fluid. One's contained and one's not. It's not possible. But the only reason we connect, this is the understanding, the truth. The only way we can connect to spirit is by our own spirit essence. So our human self is connecting with all those loved ones and spirit guides and higher self, not the human identity. And when we
Yeah.
start recognizing that, there is no more trying. There are no formulas to follow. There are no methods. It's release. It's softening the fear and the ego, surrendering the human identity, and just being there as the observer. Because the same way my physical form, even now speaking with you and to the listeners, it's not my human being. It's my
Yeah.
essence coming through the human vessel. We always connect essence to essence, never body to body. That's why we always connect human self to human self, never human identity to human identity. And this is
Yeah.
the mix up because a lot of teachers don't even recognize it themselves. They just
Yeah.
figure, well, you know what? I was taught this and it works for me. It's not that it works for them, it's just that the same teaching appears, but something happened with their awareness, their higher self softened their awareness enough that they were able to connect. And
Yeah.
a lot of them don't have a formula. There is no formula. So they're trying to articulate and create one. And that becomes confusing to the student. And then
Yeah.
what happens, instead of a student continuing to come with passion and a desire to learn, they get discouraged and then they start bad mouthing it. And then when other friends or family want to be a medium, oh, don't do that. That's crazy. I tried it myself. What a waste of time. It's like one of those Ponzi schemes or an MLM, and you got burnt once, you don't do it again. And that's what's happening. Instead of encouraging new mediums, they're discouraging them. And other
That's
people just
funny.
turn around and say, well, keep coming to me. You need at least 10 courses with me to really understand and get to where I am. Somebody said to
Yeah.
me, they came to my beginner's trance course a while back, and they said that some other mentor said that not everyone is meant to do trance. I'm like, that's not accurate at all. because every single one of us with human form possess the same exact funnel of consciousness. We're
Mm.
all from the creator. We all have a perceiver. We all have an oversoul, a higher self, and downward. Everybody. So in that
Yeah.
funnel is where this trance occurs. So if it's like saying, oh, you can't breathe, because that's not a good
You're
analogy.
driving a car.
Right. No, it's something like that, right? It's like you can't
Oh, I
limit.
get it.
If you have a breath and you have a soul, you could do anything. Because
That's
the
true.
communication is through a soul, not through the human form.
Well, I was just thinking back in the day, the pioneers, the original
Yeah.
people, mediums or whatever, they didn't have any teachings. It was all
Right.
spirit. And
Right.
if you start looking into the history of the world, because I'm like big in learning about people that are different, and there are people in mountains that have been doing healings that are powerful healers, never been trained a day in their life, but they know how to connect. They just know they are one, or mediums in remote places that
Right.
don't have a platform like us. And they're out there helping so many people with no training because they're connecting to that essence of
Right.
themselves, like what you talk about.
Right. That's exactly right. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Even when somebody says, like, we just finished another course a couple weeks ago, and she was very kind and complimentary, and I learned so much. And this is my fourth trance course, and I finally understood it, and everybody else confuses me. She says, you have a great way of teaching. I said, I'm not teaching. I'm
Mm.
guiding you to your own remembrance.
I like that.
So
We're just remembering.
yeah, you're remembering the funnel. You're remembering the architecture of origin I just explained. You're remembering where you come from, what your purpose is, who you are. You're
Yeah.
detaching from the illusion you see in the mirror in your human identity. That's what I'm doing, just helping people see the bigger picture, see the truth. And then from there, it's up to them. They're going
Yeah.
to continue. Fantastic, continue. And I taught another course with those who lost their loved ones. You don't have to be a trance medium. You can still learn trance to connect to your loved ones on an intimate level. Because
Yeah.
in their auric field is still remnants of your loved ones, your spirit team,
Yeah.
other parallel lives, loved ones. They're all in the same field. It doesn't change.
Yeah. So, Nico, because I know we've been saying the word trans mediumship a lot. So, for those that are tuning in and they're beginner mediums and they don't know what that word means, can you break that down for us, please?
Shame on them. They don't know what the word. Okay, we just I just touched on it a second ago. What trance is? Okay, evidential mediumship is what we refer to as a medium connecting with somebody's lost loved one,
Correct.
right? In this field of consciousness, within your auric field, this is massive energetic expanse as wide as the skies. This is where all remnants of spirit essences remain.
Yeah.
They don't ever leave, like imprints, soul imprints, energetic signatures. They remain in everybody's field. That's why you have an instant recognition with a stranger. I feel I know you from somewhere, or I've been here before, because it all makes sense. It's all intentional.
Yeah.
So even if you lose someone in this physical world, they're still with you. So
Yeah.
people struggle with grief and they seek external assistance, external connection to speak to their loved one because they miss them. They possess the same exact ability. The only difference is that
Yeah.
the medium has refined the release and surrender of the mind and the fear and believed in themselves,
Mhm.
but they're still believing themselves as an instrument,
Yeah.
right? We're a vessel. Spirit communicates through us to their loved ones. They're not entering our body. They're merging, blending within our own auric field, our own funnel of consciousness. So what trance is trance mediumship is you just release even more inhibitions, more fear, more resistance, more doubt, and you allow that field to speak through you. It's a
Yeah.
blending of your spirit guide and you. Okay? It's a blending of your higher self. It's a blending of your oversoul. It's a blending of the perceiver. It's a blending of everybody. Because it's all
Mm.
infinite consciousness. Even the creator, all of his infinite
Yeah.
consciousness. It's like a breeze coming through the whole architecture, through your breath, through your body to the outside world. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful collaboration. Beautiful.
You know what you just reminded me of? Because years ago, this is a long, long time ago, I went to a medium because I was so fascinated by trance. And she had told me I was not a trance medium.
Yeah,
She goes,
see?
don't even do it. Because I had started and I found
Why?
it so fascinating. She's like, you don't have, what was it?
Yeah.
You don't have the patience to be a trance
Yeah.
medium. You're an evidential medium. Don't even go down that route. You're going to hate it. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to hate it. I'm not going to go down that route.
Yeah, see, they discourage. And 25 years ago, they were discouraging others from becoming a medium because they wanted the clients. It was still a rare niche, see,
Yeah.
for the most part. I mean, the way I look at it, no human can inform another human what they can and cannot do.
Hmm.
Because then they're viewing it again through the lens of the human form, the human identity. So you're not human. And when people discourage somebody, they're just caught up in their own ego and their own identity and their own greed. And they're not
Yes.
the ones to teach. They're not the ones to lead. They're not the ones to be the mediums. But again,
Okay, here's,
I'm not judgmental. I'm just trying to tell
yeah.
the listeners, don't listen to anybody because everybody can connect in trance. Everybody, you all connect in trance anyway because you go to
Yes.
sleep every night. So trance has to do a lot with the nervous system and the brain hurts. Right? What is
Oh,
trance? When you first wake up in the morning, you don't want to get out of bed, you hit the snooze button. Just give me 10 more minutes. That beautiful bliss state, that's the
yes.
theta state. That means your brain hertz are between 3.4, 3.5, and 5.5. That's the heart of trance. So you're
Yes.
in the trance state right there.
Yeah.
Going to sleep every night, we can have every night. Same thing. When you're driving home on a familiar road and you lose track of time and you get home, like, I don't know how I got here. You don't even remember driving. When you're in the
Yes.
zone, in the flow, when you're daydreaming, deja vu, all of this is trance. We
Oh, I didn't
experience
know
it,
that. I
you
didn't realize
experience
it.
it throughout your day and throughout your life. It's the same exact thing. Your awareness
Interesting.
quiets and you're alerted to your consciousness. The funnel of consciousness, that's trance.
Oh,
Everybody
I've
does it.
also I've also heard, and you tell me because I'm not a trance expert or nothing, that if you do platform, you should not study trance, or you can't do trance on platform.
See,
But the way you're
again,
saying is just you're surrendering deeper.
again, how can any human provide what you cannot do?
Yeah,
Because again, you're not doing anything as a human. You're connecting
true.
as a soul essence. So how can a human say what you can and cannot do? You see, I just shake my head at these people because I'm looking at it like they think they're performing. They think they're connecting the spirit as a human, and you're not. You
Yeah,
never can.
yeah,
And this is where mediumship, any communication of the spirit, any modality is still frowned upon by the skeptics because the people that are offering it, that they're treating it like a performance. Like, hey, look at me, I can speak to your mom. It's not, that's the ego, that's the human identity believing they did something, they accomplished a connection. When you connect with spirit and somebody's loved one, it's a sacred collaboration. They're emotional, you're emotional. You feel a
yeah,
beautiful harmonic relationship with the human because you connected them with the spirit as spirit. You reminded them of their own spirit. It's so much deeper than the human awareness and our ego and the desire to be right and accepted.
yeah,
So you never discourage them, you encourage them. Because by encouraging them, you're helping them remember their soul essence, not a human body.
yeah.
If all
Wow.
people could recognize that the awakening is to remember you're the human self, not the human identity, this is a different world we live in. And then
Yeah,
everyone's connecting with spirit because we're connected with spirit as each other through the human form.
yeah.
You
I like
know,
that, the remembering, because
that's,
that takes the fear away.
of course, fear is human identity.
Yeah,
Fear is part of this world. There's no fear of your essence.
no.
None.
So, Nico, for you, I want, first of all, I want to say thank you for that because I hope that those that are listening or watching this on YouTube, that it really helps get the fear and that we've broken it down because I feel like we've broken it down a lot. Uh, my next question is, How does it work for you from a human perspective? So if people are looking at you and like, oh, I'm so fascinated with Niko and the way he talks. Like, how does it work for us, the muggles over here, the humans?
Muggles. And again, it's it's not that I just woke up one day and I said, "Oh, you know what? I'm a human self. I'm not a human identity." That didn't happen at all. Trust me, because again, based on my conditioning, based on my religion, based on my history, based on the circles of friends and family, I was the outcast. I was the black sheep. So I always feel like I was the anomaly. I never fit in. Something was wrong with me. Even as a kid, I wrote about that in this third book that I just released in the trilogy. Um, the priest was saying something. I felt something different. I was taught that, the soul remains on earth for 40 days after its death, and then it ascends only if it's forgiven. I'm like, well, I feel my soul now, and I'm still alive. What are you talking about? So it never made
Yeah.
sense to me. And it was very difficult for a young boy to think that I was different. I was asking God, why'd you make me different? What's wrong with me? I mean, there's a lot there. That's how powerful people's perception is on the young mind. So
Yeah.
I really thought I was something was wrong with me. Even when I would feel spirit, I saw my cousin, I saw those celestial beings, a lot of other amazing phenomena was happening between that and continue to happen after that. I couldn't share with anybody. Even those that I
Yeah.
loved, I tried to, and they'd look at me funny, raise an eyebrow, yell at me, whatever. So I just shut my mouth and I kept shelving it.
Yeah.
By shelving it, I kept clinging on to my human identity. Lost myself
Mm.
in work, focused on success, tried to have the perfect family, all things that never made me happy. You see,
Yeah.
you can't outrun your higher self no matter what you do. So even those who are listening, who are skeptical or afraid, recognize there's always a pull drawing you back for a reason. There's always your
Yeah.
intuition whispering something else that your mind is trying to silence. There's always a feeling in the gut or the heart that you're like, you know what? I'm not on the right journey, and this isn't the right soulmate, or these aren't my right friends, or whatever it is. Trust that
Yeah.
gut because that's your higher self guiding you. That guidance will lead you onto the alignment of the path you're meant to be on. Then, when you're
Wow.
on it, a lot more synchronicities occur. The right people come in at the right time. Those who no
Yeah.
longer serve purpose leave. Then you
Yeah.
realize there really is no pain. So the more I started recognizing through loved ones, and then my spirit team, because the way I understand the structure in that is that when we start feeling the presence of a loved one, it's because as humans we're very familiar to the energetic presence. So we
Yeah.
trust it. Oh, that's my mom. I know
Yeah.
it's my mom. That's my dad. That's my dad. Oh, I feel I'm not afraid. And the fear starts to lessen. Your loved ones guide your awareness into the conscious field to your spirit team, who you don't remember
Yeah.
right now, but they feel just as familiar, if not more familiar, than your loved ones because they went over many lifetimes with you.
Yeah.
And then your spirit team, with more trust and more surrender of the ego and the human identity, helps guide you to your higher self. When you reach the higher self and you're really collaborating, feeling a oneness, the same breath, that's when you start realizing, okay, I've been clinging onto the human identity too long. It doesn't mean anything. Because
Mm.
if your higher self is sending you continuous guidance through intuition, through inner knowing, through sixth sense, and now you become the intuition, there's nothing else to send. You
Yeah.
understand? There's no distance.
Yeah.
You've overcome this human awareness. It's a combination of the consciousness in the funnel and the human awareness because they're both from the higher self. So
Yeah.
when you connect to that, it's like an expansiveness of all of it. And then it starts making sense and you start seeing clearer. That's the remembrance. That's when it kicks in big time. So
Yeah.
when you shift your viewpoint back to the human world, you're not looking at it through the same lens you previously were from the human form, through the conditioned mind, through the human identity. Now you're viewing it through the eyes of your higher self and say,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, this all makes sense now. So even those scarring relationships, you don't frown upon them and call them bad names or
Yeah.
have anger toward them. You honor them because that wonderful soul provided you that pain so you could learn from lessons and emotions and alter your trajectory of your path.
Yeah.
So everything makes a lot more sense. And you always connect them with loved ones. My loved ones, I connect with them more now than I did when they were alive.
Yeah.
you know, constantly. Then your human comprehension expands more than possible, and you
Yeah.
recognize the intricacies of this architecture, and it's fascinating. So when people say I'm afraid or I can't connect, it's just like, okay, I don't frown upon them. I don't shake my head in disgust. I'm just like I just recognize where they are on their journey. There's no
Yeah.
race. There's no finish line.
This is true.
They'll
I
get
was
to it when
just,
they're meant to.
yeah, honestly, like the conversation we're having, I'm like, as you're talking, I'm thinking to myself, just within my own human life outside of mediumship. And I was like, just like I've had some health issues my whole life. And each time I met somebody, they'd be like, aren't you afraid? But I was never conditioned to be afraid. There was always that knowing, like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Or driving in snowstorms. Aren't you afraid you're going to get on the. No, I like, and now I'm thinking, why do we get conditioned in mediumship to be afraid? But then there's
Right.
other parts of our life where that conditioning doesn't even jump in. It doesn't even walk in. You just assume, I'm fine. Why wouldn't I
Yeah.
be fine?
People are afraid
Is
of
that not
death.
wild? If you start to actually think about
Yeah.
your life, where are you conditioned to be afraid and where you feel completely safe and secure and confident? And the thought of fear never even crossed your mind.
Right. People are afraid of death because they don't
Yeah.
understand it. Because they
Yeah.
don't understand the architecture of origin. They don't understand who they are. So they're afraid of death. So they're extremely careful. Don't drive in the snowstorm. Watch what you eat. Watch how you're going to get mugged and killed. They
Yeah.
they they thrive on news and movies because it offers what happens when you're not careful. It's the same thing. It's all conditioning the mind. So if they
Yeah.
fear in their everyday life, they're going to fear twice as much of the spirit world.
Yeah.
Because death is unexplained. They don't know what's going to happen after death as a human, the human
Yeah.
identity. So the human identity always fears death. And that's why they fear existence from beyond death, from beyond. It doesn't
Yeah.
have any tangible solutions or any explanations to to have all the intellectual minds nod in agreement and accept. No, they want
Yeah.
something that's they could prove, that's tangible, that's measured, that they could touch and become real, and it's
Yeah.
not. But even
Yeah.
their own life is not a life the way they perceive it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of unraveling of old teachings that this whole new wave of awakening is going to offer. Because there is
So
no
do you,
fear.
I agree. Do you feel like because I just had somebody else on my podcast talking about that. Do you feel like we are now in the awakening or are we just beginning the awakening?
Well, the awakening has also been it's been sent by spirit for centuries. Little
Yeah.
messages here, all the phenomenons with physical mediumship and EVP machines and projections and holograms and dubbing. Or what about that? My third book. All of these have been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
Seeing orbs, apparitions. It wasn't that spirit was saying, "Okay, we exist, we're alive." Everything, even now with the comet, even now what's going to come, everything that's been happening is spirit's waves, the spirit world's way of reminding us, not
Yeah.
teaching us, not proving that we exist after death, but helping to remind us, guys, you are not the human identity, you're the human self. Because if you're the
Yeah.
human identity and you believe that, you detach from the entire structure that's created by the creator.
Yeah.
You detach. And then you live a very difficult life, and then you're afraid you're not going to go to heaven to see your loving, you go to hell, and all this stuff that's been taught in this world. Fine, I understand that this realm has its veil of forgetfulness intentionally, but it doesn't mean you have to remain distant and separated for the entire journey. That's why spirit keeps reminding you. That's why you can feel a presence near, or hear something in a whisper, or see something, a quick flash, and I know what it is. They're always reminding you. Because the more humanity recognizes they're the human self, not the human identity, the less war, the less hatred, the less violence, the less judgment, the less
Yeah.
fear. It's all gone.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, but people are trying to awaken without knowing what they're awakening to. How the hell is that going
Mhm.
to happen?
Yeah. You know what you just reminded me of? That old saying, they had a midlife crisis at 40.
Yeah,
Because you've heard that, like, oh, it's a
yeah,
midlife crisis. And like, is it or is it a remembering? And their
right. That's
soul
exactly
is trying
right.
to
Right. That's
remember.
exactly what it is. It's all a
Yeah.
remembrance. And I think that's what the awakening truly is. That's another book I'm going to write about that. It's not, you're not awakening to the spirit continues because we've been taught that lesson for centuries. You're
Yeah,
not awakening to anything different because we've already been shown that. So what are you awakening to? You're awakening to the fact that you're a human self, not a human identity. And when that is accepted worldwide, everything changes.
that is amazing. So, Niko, first of all, thank you for this conversation. So, my last question for you is somebody is brand new on this journey. They're in their human mind and they're like, I'm a little bit scared, but I listened to Niko and I feel safe. And they want to do step one on their journey of discovering mediumship. What would you recommend? Like the beginning for somebody that
You
doesn't know
know,
what to start, where to start.
I started off with evidential mediumship, and I wish I would have started off with trance mediumship. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend everybody take a beginner's trance course. Um,
You offer that, correct?
I do offer that, but they can go to
Okay.
anybody else. I'm not trying to plug myself, but take a beginner's trance course where the focus is on sensing that funnel of consciousness, the energy, the connection, the auric field, all that I'm speaking about, because that, if a mentor is speaking about that, then they understand where it's coming from. If they're going to start speaking about formulas and methods and whatever, stay away from them because that's they're teaching again from the human vantage point, and you're not going to go anywhere. Because once you
Yeah.
understand that you're always in that funnel, you're always connected, there is no fear. And that's how fear is resolved. It's released by just feeling your loved ones. Even if you don't want to be a trance medium, if you just want to connect to spirit, again, trance, a beginner's trance course, so you can learn how to sit in the power. That's a phrase they use to sit in that altered state of consciousness consistently, effortlessly, trusting, observing, not demanding. And then you just
Yeah.
sense spirit's presence near, and you recognize how the body reacts to it, the nervous system reacts to it. You receive sensations, a pressure, you feel unconditional love. It's incredible. It takes away all fear. Then from there, if you want to be an evidential medium, then you come from the correct foundational background where I'm sensing spirit rather than guessing what evidence they're giving us. So trance, absolutely, I always suggest people begin any growth in any modality, any connection to spirit, or any remembrance through trance, always.
I like that. I think that helps a lot because you're
And it
just
goes to
your
show you, I offer various classes. I offer evidential mediumship. I offer cosmic trance. I'm starting another one, the breath and the auric field. It's a two-part course. I offer a
yeah.
10-month mentorship program starting in January. So I offer various classes, meet your spirit guide, a lot of them. And I
Yeah.
still say trance is the best way to open start. Still, because I
Yeah.
believe it.
Oh, I totally agree there because it's the surrendering.
That's it.
The more you surrender, the easier it gets and you
What are
get
you
out of your head.
surrendering?
Sorry?
What are you surrendering?
Oh, what am I surrendering? I'm
When
just
they say
getting out of
when they
my
say
own way.
surrendering, when they say surrendering, half the people are unsure what that means. You're
Oh,
surrendering the human identity.
yeah.
That's it.
But then you know what happens? Because I will hear this. It's like, oh, I'm scared of going to trance because what if I get possessed? Because all of a
Right.
sudden I could feel spirit on my hands
Right.
or I could feel
Right.
them touching me.
Right.
So what do you say to people that are freaked
Where
out about
where
that?
they coming with that? From the human identity,
True.
from the human mind. If you surrender the human identity and recognize that you are the human self, no one's going to possess your body because your soul's not even in your body.
Okay.
People
Where do our
believe that the
souls supposed
soul's
to
in their
go?
body. It's absolutely impossible. It's impossible. I wrote about that in the third book. It's like harnessing a thunderstorm in a teacup. The energetic vibration is so powerful, the body would combust. There's no possible way.
Okay.
So if your soul, if your essence is around the body, creating this auric field, you're sensing other presences. You're first sensing your own
Oh, it's true.
energy, then the other. So it's what's going on. It's not they're not gonna possess you and take over, make you crazy. Again, fear-based teachings, focus on the human identity, coming from this world, all of it. It's repetitive. Surrender the human identity, it all makes sense. It's
It
all a
does make
remembrance.
sense.
Then
I
it's a remembrance, not a
yeah.
teaching.
So your books, where can they get your books?
Actually, this is good timing too because I have a special for the third book, The Soul's Evidence, on Black Friday, November 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. Um, no, at 12 noon Eastern Standard. You know what? I have to check. And we're going to offer a live raffle drawing for every 10 people that purchase the book. I select a lucky winner to
Yeah.
receive a free course of their choosing, and they have a year to use it.
Nice.
So it is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, 9 a.m. Pacific on November 28th on my Facebook page, Niko Medium.
Yeah.
Um, the books are on Amazon or on my personal bookstore, books.by,
Yeah.
books.by / Niko the Medium. If they go on the personal bookstore, books.by / / Niko the Medium, I can see who's purchasing it and I immediately enter them into the drawing. If they go on Amazon, just send me a text that you bought it so I could add you because Amazon does not release buyer information, so I wouldn't know who bought it from there.
Oh, okay.
So, and then on my website, they can always go on NikoTheMedium.com. It has the books, it has the courses, it has the podcast. We,
Okay.
we have free circles every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, and and every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, we have free circles. Wednesday is Trance Development, and Thursday is Evidential Development. So we offer
Okay.
that too. And then every Sunday we have a coffee talk
Oh, that's good. Coffee
at
talks are
noon.
good.
At noon on Sundays, and we talk about all this fun stuff, and we try to zap your minds.
I like that. I think it's fantastic. So I'm gonna have all of Nico's information. I'm gonna
Ah,
have his
wonderful.
website. So he just told you, NikoTheMedium.com. He is on Instagram
Yeah,
at Niko the Medium. So go check it out. Give him a follow. He's on Facebook, official Niko Medium. That's his Facebook tag. And he also has a YouTube channel, which is Niko the Medium. So at Niko the Medium. And I'm gonna have all those links up. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the fascinating conversation. And I really hope for those that are listening to this podcast, that by the end of this podcast, the fear is gone. It's all gone. And you remember it's just a remembering. So thank you,
absolutely
everybody,
right.
for listening. And thank you, Niko.
Thank you, Maria. It was an honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you.